Yo, what's up with it, y'all? It's JD, Travelsthenix, and I'm back with another quick video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about having a clear-cut goal for what you're training for, as well as figuring out what the best methods are to achieve your fitness goals, aka what style of training you need to do to get the desired look or performance that you want. So we're going to go over different training styles and what are the benefits and backdraws to those training styles. But before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel and you're interested in travel, fitness, and overall growth content, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you can get updated every time I drop new content. Also, guys, if you're interested in improving your physical fitness and you'd like to receive some online coaching from myself with calisthenics, plyometrics, intermittent fasting, diet coaching, things of those sorts, go ahead and hit my website up. That's Travelsthenix.com. I have different plans and different price points for people with different budgets, and I also train people at all levels. So let's get back into the video. So the first style that we're going to talk about is weight training for aesthetics. This is going to be more of your bodybuilding type of workout for mass and physique. Most people you see at the gym are either consciously or unconsciously training in this style. It can improve your strength, give you some added size, and if you're on point with your diet and your cardio, you can have a pretty impressive physique using this training method. The backdraws to this training style is that most people who bodybuild or are weight room warriors are not very athletic. The mass and bodybuilding physique does not really translate into athletic performance. It also hinders mobility and can lead to injuries if you start ego lifting or pushing your weight too high. The next style of training we're going to go over is powerlifting, similar to aesthetic weight training, but powerlifters are primarily focused on pure strength more than aesthetics. Powerlifters are incredibly strong athletes who can pull, push, squat insane amounts of weight. One thing missing from powerlifting, though, in my opinion, is balance. There's too much focused on pure strength and not enough with aesthetics. Again, just like bodybuilder type weightlifters, in traditional sports or the combat world, powerlifting isn't really going to help you too much, with the exception of maybe football, where certain positions need to be extremely strong. If you're going to be primarily training with powerlifting, I highly recommend that you definitely incorporate some cardio and also some other type of athletic training if you want to improve your athleticism if you are an athlete. The next training style we're going to discuss is going to be endurance training. So endurance training is an extremely popular form of training, which is essential to long-term health. It helps with heart health, lung health. Some common styles of endurance training are distance running, cycling, swimming, rowing, or your classic cardio machines at the gym, such as the Stairmaster and the elliptical. Endurance training can also aid in your athletic performance. It improves your gas tank. So if you're playing a sport like football, or you're in combat sports, or basketball, Olympic runners, or any other type of sports where you need to build up that gas tank, endurance training is going to be a mainstay in your regimen. Although endurance training is great for your health, it probably shouldn't be your sole form of training if you're looking to improve your aesthetics. That's if you're interested in gaining muscle mass. Most people who train strictly for endurance have a super slim frame and have typically the runner style body. I personally add endurance training into my training regimens strictly for gas tank and overall health purposes. Plyometrics is the next training method I'm going to speak about, and it's definitely one of my favorite forms of training for a multitude of reasons. It primarily focuses on explosive movements like jumping, lateral quickness, agility, sprints, and it's probably the best form of training if you're an athlete in a sport like basketball, football, soccer, or any other sport that requires advanced quick twitch type 2 muscle fibers. Plyometrics is also very beneficial for us to practice as we age. Specifically after the age of 30, we start to slowly lose our fast twitch type 2 muscle fiber. I highly recommend at least sprinting a few times a week or incorporating some plyo exercises into your training routine, especially for those of us who are over the age of 30. On the aesthetics tip, plyometrics will give you that lean, muscular look with a lot of leg definition. Not necessarily the massive legs of a power lifter or a bodybuilder, but athletically strong looking like a sprinter, or if you think about a horse's legs. The one knock on plyometrics is that it doesn't do much for the upper body as far as building muscle, because plyometrics exercises strictly incorporate lower body. Another thing about plyo is that you need to warm up sufficiently before you start training intense jumping, sprinting, or explosive exercises, because if you don't, you're going to be putting yourself at risk for injury. Mobility is the next type of training that I'm going to speak about, and it needs to be in everybody's training tool belt. Mobility and functional movements are what allow us to do everyday activities like walk, reach, bend, stretch, and twist. Having good mobility improves your quality of life, so taking 10 to 15 minutes per day to stretch and work on our flexibility is no big deal in the grand scheme of things. For me personally, I try to stretch after every workout and also have a more intense stretching session in the evening, usually after I eat dinner, maybe after I let my food digest for about an hour. So mobility training styles that you might think about are yoga, animal movement training, and flow training, which are all pretty quirky, but you don't actually have to use these particular training styles to be mobile. Another thing about those training styles is that they all surprisingly will help you build relative body weight strength, and will also help you with your longevity. They don't necessarily help you endurance, so you will have to incorporate endurance or high intensity training to improve your heart and your lung health, although yoga does incorporate a lot of breathing techniques. Aesthetically, when you think of people who do a lot of these mobility styles of training, you typically imagine slimmer people. So if building a considerable amount of muscle mass is something that you're interested in doing, you're going to want to incorporate some different styles of training as well. So last but not least on the styles of training that I'm going to speak about is obviously going to be calisthenics. So if you've watched my videos before in the past, you know that I'm big into calisthenics. That's my favorite style of training. And within calisthenics, there's a multitude of calisthenics styles. There's a street workout, which is mostly crazy acrobatic gymnastics type movements on the bars. There's actual gymnastics rings training, which focuses on building pure relative strength. Also, you can do some pretty cool movements on the gymnastics rings. There's aesthetic training, which is primarily focusing on physique. It's almost like bodybuilding without the weights. There's also a certain segment of the calisthenics community that trains specifically for sets and reps. And these are usually the people that you can find at your local calisthenics competition, where they're competing to see who can do the most pull-ups, push-ups, muscle-ups, different exercises like that. You also have people who focus on static training. Static moves are isometric type holds, handstands, planches, levers, different things of that nature. Also, parkour is a big thing, and it's not necessarily calisthenics, but it's pretty similar to calisthenics and it's somewhat of a daredevil sport with like an artistic movement twist to it. It can pretty much be done anywhere. A lot of these people who are doing these crazy things, scaling walls, jumping from building to building, flips and jumps, I do see a lot of people practice parkour at my local calisthenics park, and that's probably why I'm actually adding that into this calisthenics style of training. Now, what drew me into training calisthenics heavy is the skills that you can progress to, while also being able to attain what I view as the ideal physique. The muscle up movement is actually the movement that initially drew me to calisthenics. I already was doing pull-ups pretty much on a daily basis in the gym, but I was always wondering how people could get their whole body over the bar. Also, seeing people do handstand push-ups, human flags, and other superhuman strength movements was something that motivated me to switch over training into calisthenics as my primary form of training. Personally, when it comes down to calisthenics styles, I like to combine a number of different calisthenics training methods. Skill training for static movements as well as explosive movements on the bar, sets and reps for muscle endurance, weighted calisthenics, gymnastics rings, and time under tension training, specifically so I can gain strength and gain muscle growth. Now, some of the backdraws of calisthenics are that it's hard to get a good lower body training workout in with no added weight. That's one key reason why I actually incorporate so much plyometrics and weighted leg exercises into my training, so I can get that extra leg pump and develop my legs a little bit more. Now, another drawback to calisthenics is that overtraining can lead to injuries, specifically in the shoulder area because so many calisthenics movements involve the shoulders. Overall, calisthenics is a great way to train, and if you're trying to get that lean muscular look, I highly recommend that you at least incorporate some calisthenics into your training. Body weight exercises are extremely underrated, and body weight exercises alone can give you a very impressive physique. There really is no limit to your training regimen, and you can combine as many of these training styles as you like. Focus on a training style that will help you accomplish your specific goals. If you're a young athlete, plyometrics and strength training might be your go-to training. If you're training specifically for health reasons, endurance or mobility might be what you're looking for. If you're training strictly for aesthetics, take a look at some of the athletes that train in all these training styles and train for the look that you want to attain. The important thing is that we stay active and we don't take our ability to move for granted. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys got some knowledge from this video. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, again, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. I hope everybody's having a great day. I'll holla at you guys later. Peace.